Hello, my friend Sean Cornett here. Hope you're doing well. Want to address something that comes up very commonly when folks do a Google search for Ambit Energy. They find a couple of things. Number one, our Better Business Bureau ranking page is very common for folks to look at. And of course, when you do that, you come here and you see we've got an A+ rating that looks good, 4.3 out of 5 stars. That looks good. But when you see the sheer number of complaints and obviously a good number of both positive and negative, that can be concerning to some. But the thing you got to put into perspective here is that we are by far the largest energy retailer in the state of Texas, coming up on almost 10% of the market share there, which is massive. There's really no one that comes even close to us on that. So when you're obviously by far the largest, it's not necessarily a matter of the number of complaints as much as it is a matter of the way that they're taken care of in the overall dealing, which is why we obviously come out very well with the A+ rating. But I think the other thing to keep in mind is when you look at Ambit compared to some of our larger competitors, you really can't compare us to some of the small companies out there that don't have any ratings at all. But a couple companies that we would compare to would be Ciro and Green Mountain. Those are some larger companies in Texas. Ciro, as an example, has a B rating. 100% of their reviews were negative and 80 complaints. So I think you can, and obviously Ciro's isn't nearly the size of Ambit. So that kind of puts Ambit's rating into perspective a little bit more. We could also take a look at Green Mountain, which is a little bit larger. And looking at their numbers, got to click through one more. They do have an A+ rating, but you can see that their percentage is much more negative than positive, and they've only got a 3.85 out of 5 stars. So here's kind of the summary here. If you're comparing the three, Ambit, Ciro, and Green Mountain, our rating is obviously overall much better. Our ratio of positive to negative is by far better. The only thing that you look at is that we have more complaints, and that's purely because of a sheer size function. We're much, much larger. And so that's where that figure comes into play. And that's really also the case in across the board in other states. We could take a look at another very common thing that pops up as our J.D. Powers ratings, and the most recent survey was 2006. And you'll see right here up top, Ambit Energy is displayed as one of the top companies for the second year in a row as customer satisfaction winners. You can go through, they do these surveys by state. You can see that Ambit Energy, they're in Connecticut, #1. Illinois, Ambit's right up there. Across the board, with just one exception, Ambit Energy is well above average in customer satisfaction. Massachusetts, we're not actually large enough in Mass. It's one of our newer states, so we're not large enough yet to get ranked, which is why we don't show up there. New Jersey, again, right up there. The only state that we're below is New York, and that's kind of still a carryover effect from the polar vortex situation that hit us extremely hard because of how large we are in that state. But of course that affected a lot of companies as well. And interestingly enough, just a few years ago in the state of New York, prior to that issue, which we've since definitely resolved, but that's a topic for another day, just a couple years ago, Ambit was actually ranked #1 in New York. So that's fluctuated a little bit, but overall, when you average out our rankings, you can see we do extremely well across the board. Going down to Pennsylvania, again, Ambit Energy is near the top. Texas, again, Ambit Energy near the top. So with one exception, and there's some definite details and reasons behind that, Ambit ranks extremely well in the J.D. Powers rankings, and of course in Better Business Bureau as well. So hope that clears up some of the issues, and any questions, of course, always let me know.